Hey you guys, I wanted to make this really preliminary video discussing the differences between the rumored Apple tablet and the rumored Microsoft Courier. And just for reference, in case you're watching this video at a later date, I'm making this in October 2009. So, very few details are out, but enough details are out that I would consider going ahead and drawing some comparisons between the two. First of all, the Apple tablet is supposed to have this slate-like design. It's supposed to be like a single page, basically like a gigantic iPod Touch or iPhone. And you're probably going to have a touchscreen keyboard. You're going to have about a 9.7 inch or a 10.7 inch touchscreen. But it's going to be a slate or tablet-like design. The Microsoft Courier is supposed to be an unfoldable book-like design with a screen on each side. And you can see that both of these companies are definitely going for something. The number one use that's been put out there for these new types of devices are possibly textbooks, reading books. Well, the Apple tablet with this design is kind of basically like a color Kindle. And this is really going to cut into Kindle's market share, which I'm sure Amazon is not very happy about. But it's also I've heard that the Apple Corporation is in talks with companies like McGraw-Hill, and they're actually considering textbook plans where you can put textbooks right on your Apple tablet, and you can, of course, take notes and things like that. The Microsoft Courier also has some advantages in the area of textbooks and class coursework. You can actually read a textbook on one side and take notes on the other. There's also a lot of other functions that this type of design allows. And if you look in the sidebar, I'm going to put a link to the Gizmodo article all about the Microsoft Courier with all the information that they know so far, which isn't much, but it's got a really cool video and some great designs, some great photos. I think they're just concept art, but some great photos that have already been released or made by somebody that is close to the design team or knows something about the product already. So first, the size of this, we have no idea about the size of the screens. Probably going to have OLED screens. I can't see them having two screens and both being LCD, maybe, but that would take a lot of power. Anyways, first let's look at the OS. The Apple tablet, I've heard, was probably going to have an iPhone OS. Now, I would much rather that it have the Mac OS 10 Snow Leopard, which, by the way, was recently redesigned from the Leopard model, and it has about half the footprint of the Leopard model, which means that it could run lighter, which means they may be able to put it on something like an Apple tablet. The Microsoft Courier, I highly doubt it would have Windows Mobile on it. It's probably going to have Windows 7. And Windows 7 was made to run on lower powered devices. It's made with a much smaller footprint than XP, and the reason they did it that way is because of netbooks. Netbooks have an Atom processor that really cannot run the Windows Windows Vista. I said XP earlier, I meant Vista, which is why you do not see Windows Vista on very many netbooks. So it's most likely going to have Windows 7, which is great because that gives it a lot more functionality. And I think if Apple put the Mac OS 10 Snow Leopard onto the Apple tablet, it would give it a lot of functionality. Next, I want to talk about the price. Apple tablet, we're hearing anywhere between $800 and $900. Microsoft Courier, we have no idea. It might be a little cheaper, but probably around the same price range. Let's look at the time frame. The Apple tablet, some experts are saying it could be released as soon as January 2010. And if you check out that link to the Gizmodo page, which is going to be in the sidebar, the Courier project is supposed to be in the late prototype stage, which means that it could possibly be released sometime in 2010. But, I'm not sure about that. Anyways, this is just kind of some preliminary information on these devices. And, you can let your imaginations run wild and post a video response saying what you think the experience is going to be like with each of these. Tell me what you think the user interface is going to be like. Some people think that the Apple tablet, if it had the iPhone OS, is going to be able to run all of the apps, the 80,000 plus apps in the in the iTunes store, App Store. And if that's the case, then that gives it a real advantage over the Microsoft Courier, because the Microsoft doesn't have the same type of app store available. But it's still way too early to tell whether or not that's going to be the case. I think both of the designs look great. Check out that Microsoft Courier in the Gizmodo page, and I will post a link to any Apple prototypes that I see out there. I've seen some concept art. I'll go ahead and post a link in the sidebar for that as well.